Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel, our website, or our social media. It's in the description below. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 41mm red gold strap-clad Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. This is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Automatic 15400OR. Broad and flat, it's 41 millimeters in diameter, the size that was first promulgated for standard Royal Oaks in 2012. It's 9.8 millimeters thick, so it's not a girthy watch, and it's certainly no offshore, but it does have a heck of a wingspan on it. 51.5 millimeters from lug to lug, and if we include these intermediate plots, these little end links, they're rigid. They expand the watch to 54.8 millimeters across the wrist. So you really need to think of this as a baby offshore more than a big Royal Oak. And you always need to assume that regardless of size, a Royal Oak is going to wear about 2 millimeters larger. So think of this as more of a 43, and you get a sense for how it fits. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see just how broad it is. Now, the shape of the case does mitigate against its size because the lugs curve around your wrist. But you can see I'm right at the limit of what's possible, even on a strap, which makes the watch a bit more wearable than the bracelet. I wouldn't necessarily wear this watch on a wrist smaller than 14.5, 15 centimeters in circumference. Remember, it's almost as broad as an offshore, even if it's nowhere near as thick. And to that end, you can see the watch will easily slide underneath the cuff. I'll try to give you a great shot of the watch directly over my wrist, and then one down the barrel. Let's take a look at the hardware and the software. The strap, though unbolstered, is thick. There's a lot of leather here. It's medium rectangular scale on the top, semi-gloss black, monotone stitch with a folded edge, and AP does things the right way, fixing the strap to the case with screws and bars rather than cheap spring bars, so there's less chance of an accidental disconnect between strap and case. It's a bit more expensive to do, but every expensive and heavy watch should feature it. All in red gold, this watch qualifies. There's a deployant clasp, and as you can see, it's the AP logo style with the AP logo inside, all of high polish internally as well as externally. Rolling around to the case, this is really what you're paying for when you buy a Royal Oak. It's one thing to see this level of manual finish executed on the steel models, but to see it on precious metal is a true treat. It's also extraordinarily difficult to work with these soft metals while creating these sharp breaks between polished and satin finished facets. You can see the bevel at all four corners expands as it moves away from the mid-case and then flares over the lugs. You can see that the lines, the character lines that start with the bezel, continue all the way perfectly aligned through the case back. There's a faceting of the case flank that echoes the bezel itself. And of course the crown, which is a screw down on this model, endowing the watch with a swimmable 50 meters of water resistance. My red line is a push-down crown with 50-meter water resistance. I wouldn't swim with those. Since this is 50 with a screw-down crown, I would swim on the surface with this, provided you first place it on a water-resistant strap. The crown is a hexagon. The bolts in white gold recessed into the bezel are hexagonal, and you can see the bezel itself, inspired by a vintage diving helmet, is a rounded off octagon with polished flanks. You can even see it features a satin finished base, then polished flanks, then vertically satin finished top. Again, all of this takes time, and the manual finishing of exotic metals is one of the great treats of a gold Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. The dial is the Grande Tapisserie. It is not the petite that you find on the jumbo, nor is it the mega that you find on the offshore. This one is made in-house post-2012 by Audemars Piguet. Post-2012, they're all made in-house on a pantograph lathe, which is a 19th century mimicry engine that takes a big template and then inscribes the hobnails and textures onto this dial. That's how they've always been made. That is how they continue to be made. You have rose gold hands, rose gold logo, rose gold indices. There will be a lume shot, all of this in black. And again, new for the 2012 generation of Royal Oaks was the monotone date disc. So you can see that is black, the dial is black. They are nicely congruent in a way that, believe it or not, before they weren't. Roll it all over, we have an in-house caliber. This movement, the 3120, was originally envisioned as the base movement for the offshore chronographs, so it's tougher than a standard high horology quasi-dress watch movement normally would be, and you can see that in the fact that it's not an ultra-thin movement. It's built to be tough, and it has a full batwing style balance bridge with a free-sprung index. Those two features making it relatively shock-tolerant. Bidirectional winding, so it doesn't have that unidirectional rotor wobble that you associate with, for example, a Valjoux 7750. Bidirectional winding was a deliberate choice AP made. Ceramic rotor bearings help to improve both the service life and the efficiency of the winding system. 60-hour power reserve. It features both hacking tracking seconds and a quick set date, and it beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour while pivoting on 40 joules. You can see that the rotor features the coats of arms of both the Audemars and Piguet family, as Audemars Piguet wants you to remember that they are the oldest continuously operating, continuously family-owned and run watch brand in Switzerland since 1875. There is a lot to love. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak in rose gold. Rose gold by day, green by night.